So recently, there's been some concerns about the job market for computer science. So I decided I would interview some computer science students and ask them about AI and the future of the job market. And are you ready?
Yeah, good to go.
All right. Today, I'm here with.
Divjot.
And what is your major?
My major is computer science.
And what do you think of computer science so far?
I think computer science is a really exciting field, especially when it comes to understanding the latest things that are happening around tech, and especially the kind of exposure we get at Ryerson University, especially with certain tools and technologies which we usually wouldn't come across. But it's really interesting to gain certain sort of a good foundation that is really essential for a building block towards a good career in computer science.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So in computer science, you would say that learning with all these new technologies is helping you in your career, like to get advanced knowledge?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Here, let's take a few steps forward so that people can walk behind us because someone just walked in front. So you're saying definitely it is helping you get a leg up on the competition?
I would say it's definitely setting up to be a good foundation. Otherwise, I would say university is certainly a good part of life, but one must do their due diligence and keep up with the university and also the growing trends in tech, because every morning we wake up and we see new tech emerging. It is just one's own responsibility to actually be caught up with all these things and actually pave a path for themselves.
You're right. It is our own responsibilities to be caught up with technology. And do you find it easy to sort of do your due diligence and keep up with tech?
I suppose to a certain degree, yes, because when I'm exposed to different clubs and I'm also building my cybersecurity startup on the other end, it really keeps me up with a lot of information and a lot of growing trends in especially cybersecurity and tech. Obviously, one cannot really cover all grounds every day, but it is just good to be updated, as one grows their own career, I suppose. Yeah.
And would you say that you are good at cybersecurity and tech?
It would be really, not humble of me to say that I am good at cybersecurity or tech. I would just say, I'm a student at the subject alongside every other person at university and even beyond university. I try my best to make a successful impact across the globe with whatever I do, and actually transform my learning experiences and educational insights into something worthwhile for a global audience.
You heard it here. He's so smart and so good at tech that if he says he's good at it, it's not humble. That's awesome. I like that. You won't say it yourself, but I can tell just from talking to you, you really know your stuff. So next question I'm going to ask you is, what's something that was unexpected that maybe you didn't like coming to school and learning about tech and in your studies?
I would say in terms of something that I would not like is, to be honest, quite controversial here, but I would definitely say if there was more emphasis paid on actually the skills and technologies with the growing age and era, and we were taught something which is directly implementable to the industry level of skill and caliber that is required in our jobs, would be much more impactful. However, I do understand that I'm in the quite formative and early ages of my education, so I'm all in for the experiences to come and the practical experiences that come with a growing age and a growing trajectory. But yeah, definitely, because since we see a lot of artificial intelligence tools come up, and I understand that there are a lot of policies and a lot of I would say things that are developing side by side, and even the university is doing their best to develop certain policies around it. I would sincerely think that it would be quite better for us students to be actually implementing those tools from day one rather than going through the traditional route, because technically there's a lot of gap, and then there's a lot of, I would say, ground to be covered till the time one graduates.
So you're saying that the experience is very good, but you wish that there was more hands-on skill that you could immediately implement at your jobs and employment opportunities right away.
Yeah, the keyword here becomes relevant as to, when we start off with, the core basic building blocks of code and program, which is really great. However, as I see more and more often that the people who are coming into computer science, now, the keyword here is computer science only, I see a lot of people are already very experienced with what they come in for. And I think it would be really good for them to have some sort of an accelerated pathway towards their graduation, or being able to provide them with certain advanced skills on an early pathway.
So you're saying that you would like it more if your skills could be focused on, and the advancement of your skills to a level of competence was placed as the most important, rather than passing grades and going to classes.
Absolutely. I think there could be a much more valuable experience that can further enhance the experience of an undergraduate student in computer science at any university, I suppose. And that would just happen using, better implementation of artificial intelligence tools, more workshops, and more, I suppose, events that are happening at the university, which are more focused around actually building those skills. I mean, that could itself be a very good complementary pathway across with, the core theoretical and educational courses that we need to usually go through as a student.
Very good. I agree. And actually, this is a rare opportunity. I would like to ask a computer science expert, or training computer science expert, soon to be an expert, what is your opinion on AI?
I think AI itself is, one of the most revolutionary technologies, as everyone says it is. And I think it is quite misunderstood what it is. But what I think is, my understanding says is the more we understand about AI, it certainly draws us back to understanding our own human brain as well, because I see there is a Pandora box around, developing around more and more complex artificial intelligence tools as to how they process information, and what is the, intermediary steps that are, actually giving us the output that we have at the end of the day. Aside from that, I think we at university, or even beyond university, must start implementing and accepting and adopting to new AI technologies with a much more flexibility, rather than having, I would say, the human bias towards, it would take a job and all those stuff. I think it's a new era, it's a new technology, one must adapt to it. Yes, there would be certain rudimentary jobs which were long tied back to being automated, and they are just to dissolve. But I definitely think that there would be new jobs created, and there would be much more bigger and higher responsibilities and roles that could be created with the use of artificial intelligence for the development of the human race.
So I agree with you completely. I think that, first of all, what you're saying, that AI is, some of its troubles come from the fact that we have to learn about the human brain, because AI is modeled off the human brain. I agree with that. I think a lot of people will agree with that. But I also think it's very interesting what you said, that with the creation of AI, we don't focus on the jobs that are lost. We focus on the opportunity to do bigger and better jobs with AI as a tool. That's a very intelligent insight. I really appreciate that. Would you have any more to expand on that idea that AI will help people do bigger jobs because it does the grunt work, for lack of a better term?
I think, with the growing age and with the amount of growing abstraction, one must really understand that, it's very similar to how calculators came in. Obviously, that's not the best example that I could, usually come up with. But just saying that, the amount of abstraction and automation increases because of artificial intelligence. And, what we are next looking towards is probably a glorious era where we could have artificial intelligence actually be creative, and creative in the most unfiltered ways, to actually see, what are the blind spots, and what are some things that probably were in front of our face the whole time, but we couldn't probably creatively pursue it, or we were just blindsided by it. And I think that would be one very interesting take on to the usage of artificial intelligence as not just a companion, but also, allowing it certain levels of creative liberty. And obviously there needs to be rules and regulations around it, but actually having it as a much more mainstream, even more than today.
That's very interesting. That AI could fill in blind spots in human creativity that may not be getting filled right now is something that I completely didn't even think of. That's a very interesting perspective. And honestly, it's been a really good interview, and I appreciate that. You're very smart, and thank you. And perfect.
Thank you.
All right, I'm here with,
Ishmam,
and you're a student here at?
TMU.
And what is your major?
I'm in the Business Technology Management Co-op program.
That is very smart and very complicated. What's your favorite part about your program?
Well, I guess my favorite part is, I get to explore both the business side and the tech side of in business.
Are you very tech oriented?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm too tech oriented. I am tech and very tech and people oriented.
And would you say you're very business oriented?
I'd say I'm a little bit of business oriented. I'm also a little bit of tech oriented, mix of both. But I feel like I'm more towards the business side.
That's very good. Some people aren't good at business or good at technology, so you're already very good right there. I'm just gonna ask you, what's your favorite part of the whole thing? Like when you go to class, what's the favorite thing you're learning right now?
Well, right now I'm not learning anything because I'm working right now. I'm on my first co-op term. But if I were learning, I guess the main thing I like is sometimes things can get practical. So I get hands-on experience in learning stuff, which beats theory in every way imaginable.
So you're in your co-op right now. Would you say that your co-op is giving you much more practical experience that's beating theory in a lot of ways?
Oh, 100%.
Which type of co-op work are you doing right now?
Well, I'm working as a project assistant in a construction company.
That is very, very important to society. Somebody has to help us build the walls. Somebody has to help us erect the buildings around us. That's very smart, very good. Do you think that construction management is a good future for you?
Well, it's not the future I envision, but if I were ever to go there, I guess I would like it.
Does the future you envision have lots of money in it?
Well, I don't do it for the money.
You do it for the business and the skills?
I do it so I can find meaning in something I'm doing, because what I've learned is money does not buy you happiness.
So you're doing it for the connections to people and the businesses that you can build?
Yeah, well, it's more about finding meaning in your work, so you know that you're contributing to something meaningful.
So finding meaning in your work is very important to you.
Exactly. Because otherwise you're just wasting your life away. 10, 20 years past, you're working the same 9-to-5 job, every day feels the same. What are you doing?
So you don't mind working as long as the work is meaningful?
Yeah, I want the work to be meaningful.
And in this program, what is one thing that you dislike?
Programming.
And what's one thing about programming you dislike?
How confusing and annoying it can get.
Do you think ChatGPT will replace all the programmers?
I don't know, but I hope not. I'm a big fan of AI, but the one thing I do not like is how AI can take over people's jobs.
So you are pro people getting jobs, and you don't like AI stealing people's jobs?
Well, see, I feel like AI is a very useful tool. You can leverage it to help you. You can leverage it like an assistant. But if it's doing your job, then what are you you're losing meaning in your life.
So you're saying that the big problem of AI right now is robbing meaning from people's lives?
Well, I wouldn't put it that way. It's people are becoming redundant, and they may have to look for something else where they find meaning when they're working years in their life to find meaning in something that's being replaced by AI. That's how I like to see it.
That makes sense. Nobody wants to be redundant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right. Thank you so much for your interview. We really appreciate it. You are very smart and very articulate, and that's just been absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I had some pretty good interviews today, and I was thankful that I did get some good interviews. They don't always, turn out really well like that. Also, I wanted to say that today was just a really great day. Do you guys have any thoughts on it? What do you guys think about AI and the future of AI and the future of the job market now that AI is playing such a large role in society? Tell me down below in the comments.